Animal Crossing fans have been waiting very, very patiently for quite a while now. We haven't gotten a major content drop for the game since March with the Super Mario Anniversary items and like the Warp Pipe, which was pretty cool, but it still wasn't really a lot. We've gotten some new items here and there, but none of them have really impacted the game enough to make people who have played the game for hundreds of hours really want to actually come back and play more. I was having a ton of fun with the game for the first few months, even probably 6 months on, I would say. I was playing online with friends, doing the fishing tournaments, the bug hunting contests, trying to find fossils that I didn't have, or even just get villagers onto my island that I really wanted. You know, there were tons of things to do, tons of things to keep Animal Crossing fans busy. But now it feels like once you have so many of the fossils and the bugs caught and things like that, and once you start getting all of the art, the game sort of gets to a point where it's just kind of boring, I guess. It doesn't really feel like it has the same amount of content that Animal Crossing New Leaf on 3DS did. Now, over the past 6 months, an Animal Crossing version of Monopoly was announced, some Animal Crossing kicks are coming out, and you can even go spend your hard-earned money on a plush talking raccoon that'll probably steal your bells in your sleep if you really want to. But as far as New Horizon goes, content has been a little lacking. Very lacking. It's been lacking in content. But then, in the most recent Nintendo Direct, Nintendo came out and announced that in October, entire Animal Crossing themed Nintendo Direct would be coming our way. Now, unfortunately, we don't know when this is or how long it's going to be, but this is a pretty huge deal. Now, I've been reading around online quite a bit, and it seems like morale is pretty low for Animal Crossing and the new Direct in general. And now I recently went back to the game and played it, and I checked in with all my villagers, and I had a pretty good time with it, even though I maybe only spent a half an hour or 45 minutes with it or something. But after playing it again and having some thoughts, I kind of have some ideas of what Nintendo could be announcing in this Direct. And I've got reason to believe that it could be pretty big stuff. No evidence, it's all just speculation, but here are my thoughts on what could be coming in the Direct. So before I get into that, actually, the one thing that we do have that we can be extremely excited about is the fact that Brewster, after years of whipping up coffee in the Roost Cafe on the 3DS, is finally coming over to Animal Crossing New Horizons on Switch. In November, the game's going to be getting a free update that adds the Roost coffee shop up in the top left corner of the museum at the top of the stairs there. We don't really know a ton about it yet exactly, or like what Brewster will look like, if he'll come with like a new spiffy outfit or anything. But we do know that it still will be open 24/7. So if you have some friends over and you want to go hang out in the museum, you have a new place to do that at. Now, one might think that Nintendo didn't really show us much more about the Brewster update than that, but upon further inspection, if you actually check out the background image here of the Direct announcement, it actually shows what I'm presuming is the Roost itself. You can see there's a register, there's some nice couches for people to relax on. It just has a really cozy and classy environment for a coffee shop. So one thing that Nintendo could do to breathe life back into this game is to bring more special characters back. We could see the return of Blanca, the white cat girl that would let you draw all over her face. That would be nice to see her see her walking around in your town. Maybe Red's up there in the corner slinging his art, but then you also have Blanca walking around, or, just other characters like maybe Booker and Copper, or Cooper. I can't remember is it Copper? The police dogs that ran the Lost and Found. That'd be nice to see them return. Cap'n? Where is Cap'n? Maybe islands will finally return. Maybe we can actually go off to an island and we can see Tortimer and we can play some games again. That would be nice. Now, we did see Rover off on, I think it was like the Mayday Island minigame. We saw him last year, and he said he would return, I believe, in some capacity, but we haven't seen him in a long time. And Porter and Rover, they both kind of went together. Porter was the monkey that would drive the bus or the car and drive you into town and drop you off. Well, he's just been absent from the series as well. And what about the Pelican mail delivery people? Like, they have to have a new job, right? Or maybe they're retired. Maybe if we go off to an island and we meet Tortimer there to play some games, maybe all of the Pelicans will be hanging out just like at a resort style thing, just lounging because they don't have jobs anymore because now the mail is all automated or something. I don't, is it digital? How does it, I want to know. Please bring them back in some capacity. I do miss them a lot. One of the last times I did play Animal Crossing, I think I saw on Twitter or somewhere that somebody was playing a mini game where they had created themselves, where they had like laid out like a 5x5 grid, I think it was, on like a part of their island, and they put a bunch of holes in the ground but they put pitfalls in them and then they buried them so they were X's, right? And I thought that it was like a kind of a cool game where you would walk around and like try to push each other off with like a shovel or your net or something. You would try to push the opponent into the hole. And I thought it was a really fun idea for a game, but it's so tough to try and like reset things like that and just even set stuff up, because then you have to have a plot on your island. So one thing that would be great, that I sort of talked about with Tortimer, is just being able to like incorporate like just different ways to interact and like have fun with your villagers on the island, besides just like hanging out and talking or like doing emotes and doing photo sets and things like that. Like allow us to actually be able to play some type of games or something like that. One idea that I had a while back is it would be great. You know how in the GameCube version of Animal Crossing, we had the Nintendo classic games that you could play. You would buy a console and you would unlock it from something and you would put it in your house and you could play an NES game. So it'd be great, obviously, if they reincorporated those games in and they allowed us to play them if we had a Nintendo Switch Online service subscription. That would be cool. But I think what would be even better is if there was an arcade in town that you could go to that you could then play Nintendo Switch Online games in, and you could play them right there cooperatively with a friend. Maybe both players have to have Nintendo Switch Online, or maybe only one person would have to, and then another person could just jump in and play the game co-op with another player, or versus whatever. That would be great. But I think just like having another way to play and interact in Animal Crossing is just something that the game's just kind of lacking. It's just lacking that interactivity. If like games like Final Fantasy 14, you have all these different ways to interact by taking photos with each other and like going and talking with NPCs and like trading clothing and things like that. But you don't. I've never played Final Fantasy 14, so I'm sorry if any of that is not true. But then you also have just the main quest of the game that you're progressing while you play with your friends. And Animal Crossing just doesn't really have that right now. It's like in like a halfway point of like, it's not trying to be an MMO, but it has all these multiplayer aspects of an MMO, but it just sort of lacks a bit in the game department, I guess. And I think that's just one area that I could really use a boost. And now you might notice behind me, I even have all of my Animal Crossing Amiibo cards set up. And the reason for that is because Nintendo also announced, I think this just was announced on Twitter, that we're getting a brand new series of Animal Crossing Amiibo cards. So for any of you that aren't aware, Nintendo released 4 different mainline series Animal Crossing Amiibo cards. Series 1, 2, 3, and 4 is what they called them. And then they did the Sanrio pack, and then they also did the RV set. And the RV set came out when Animal Crossing New Leaf was updated back in the day. It got the Welcome Amiibo update, which allowed you to use these cards, and it came with a bunch of like quality of life improvements, but then just a bunch of like new features and things like that. And I believe that update came about 4 years after Animal Crossing New Leaf had already launched. So the thing you need to know about these series as well, which this is kind of crucial to my update theory here, my direct announcement theory, is that each of these packs, they include about 16 special characters. Maybe some of them have more, some are less. Each of these packs, you get one special character, and then the rest of the cards are all villagers. And the special characters are always like Isabelle, Tom Nook, Zipper, KK Slider, things like that. And so the thing is that if Nintendo they're creating Animal Crossing Amiibo Series 5, right? Basically, the only characters that don't have cards right now are the new characters that were introduced in New Horizons. So for villagers, there's only 8 different villagers that don't have cards right now. And then I have this all written down. For special characters, there's 6. We have CJ, Daisy May, Flick, Gullivar, if you want to go that far, Orville, and Wilbur. I don't think I've missed anyone. I think that's it. Please let me know in the comments down below if I have. But that's not a lot of special characters. And 8 villagers, that's not enough to fill a Series 5 set. And so the thing is, and I probably said that a lot in this chat, but the thing is, you can go into Target, at least I did a couple weeks ago, and I bought some Series 1, 2, and 3, and 4 Animal Crossing Amiibo card packs, just right on the shelf. And they're the new versions that are updated with like the Switch branding on the backside here, but otherwise the cards are basically the same. And the RV cards, which though that set, it was 50 villager cards total in that set. Those cards were all horizontal instead of being vertical like these. So my thought is that in order to fill up Series 5, potentially Nintendo is going to take all of the villagers that were in the RV set, they're going to reformat them to match this kind of, this vertical style here. And they're going to just give them a standard card. And then we're going to get the extra 8 villagers that are new to New Horizons. We're going to get the special characters, but then maybe we'll just get a whole new batch of new villagers and new special characters, because there are like 300 different villagers in Animal Crossing in total. And that's over the course of, we have Animal Crossing, we have Wild World, we have City Folk or Welcome to the City, and then we have New Leaf, and now we have New Horizons. Sorry, so five games total. Plus, if you want to count the N64 ones that never came to America, there's more there too. But for New Horizons to only have 8 new villagers, that's not really a lot. So hopefully Nintendo has just been kind of hoarding like this collection of like new villager characters that they want to introduce into the game, and they're hopefully going to do that with this new Series 5 Amiibo set and the brand new update, because Nintendo did sort of do that with the RV set. All of the 50 villagers that were available through the RV set were either new characters to Animal Crossing New Leaf on 3DS, or they were classic characters that didn't make the jump to New Leaf in the first place. So it's not out of the question for Nintendo to just drop just a massive boatload of new characters for the game, a bunch of new content, some new special characters, some new events. That could totally happen, because Nintendo has a history of doing this in the past. They've done this with New Leaf. They gave us so much content with that game, and it was all just a free update as well. And we all know this. Animal Crossing New Horizons is one of the best-selling games on the Nintendo Switch. It has helped them sell so many consoles. They don't want to let this go. They don't want to fail the consumers in that. The fans that have been playing this game this entire time, they want to keep this ball rolling as much as they can. And it just seems likely that they're going to be pumping as many resources into this, as much time and effort into Animal Crossing as they can, because they know it's worth it. Like, Animal Crossing has its own monopoly now, that's how big Animal Crossing is right now. And, take that for what you will. It's all just my speculation. I completely understand that. But my thoughts is that this Direct is going to be massive. Animal Crossing Amiibo Series 5 is a huge kind of reason to kind of lie on that and just hope that this Direct is going to be huge, because why else would they be making a brand new set of Amiibo cards? Sure, they could rebrand like a few different villagers and special characters, and they could give them new outfits. They could bring back Isabelle with her New Horizons outfit and some of the fan favorite characters, or whatever Nintendo wants to do. They could reprint some characters, because they've done that in the past. Like, I think all of these, every single one of these series has its own unique Isabelle card. She's wearing like different outfits. I think she's wearing like a kimono or yukata in one of these. And they're not shy of giving characters new outfits and then saying, here you go, please buy these cards. They'll do that. But I think Series 5 is going to be a big deal. I think it's probably going to be another 100 cards. Maybe it could be 50. But if they just take those RV cards and rebrand them, that's 50 cards right there. Plus the 8 new villagers and the 6 special characters that don't have cards. We're at 64 cards already. So now they just need some more special characters, some more villagers, and bam, there we go. So am I just a little optimistic? Am I just a little hopeful? Of course I am. But I love Animal Crossing, and I have faith and hope that Nintendo is going to give us reason to jump back in. Give us a lot of reason. Because Brewster is a nice little addition. It'll be cool to play around with him for a week and have a friend over and go get a cup of coffee with them. That'll be nice. But I'm hopeful that Nintendo has more plans than just that. But of course, I'm not the only one that plays Animal Crossing. I imagine lots of you that are watching this video have also put many hours in Animal Crossing as well. So let us know in the comments down below how you feel about the current state of Animal Crossing. Are you hopeful, or are you just kind of whatever about the update? Even if tons of cool new things come, are you still going to play? Or is that going to be something that finally gets you back into the game? And be sure to let us know something that would get you to come back and play a couple times a week, or even just once a week as well. Let us know what you'd love to see in the game. And as always, if you enjoyed this video and you want to see more content like this, then why don't you go ahead and release a new series of that subscribe button, and then ring that notification bell to be notified whenever we put up a new video. Thank you all so much for watching. I'm Zion from Nintendo Life. Stay safe out there, and we will see you next time.